architecturally speaking, Denver aspired to be the Athens, of the West, or the Rome of the Rockies. The Mile High City's proud tradition of neoclassical buildings has long intrigued Dr. Colorado, who is here today to point out some of these architectural marvels. You know everything, only you. So you even think log cabins were inspired by Greek temples. Is that true?
Right. They have a central doorway and they have that pedimented roof in most cases.
Okay, you mentioned pediment. What is that?
This is that kind of triangle that the Greeks were famous for. You see it on temples. You see it on a lot of other buildings today.
How many places in Colorado has that pediment?
I think everywhere. If you look into the log cabins and some of the old commercial buildings, they'll often have a pediment over the doorway and over the windows.
Okay, is this a neoclassical building? Is that what you're talking about?
Right,
okay.
Right. Greek, neoclassical.
What are some of the other clues that we can say that's a neoclassical building?
Well, now here's a great example of the post office downtown, those columns. See that wonderful parade of columns? That's a Greek temple shape.
Isn't that beautiful? Gosh, we're lucky. We have such beautiful architecture here in Colorado. What about the style of the Brown Palace?
That's called Romanesque Revival, in that there's round arches there, if you look closely at the top and at the doorways. And that is Roman. The pediment is Greek and the arch, and the round arch is Roman.
Gosh, if you would just open your eyes a little bit, we get so busy day to day, but if you open your eyes a little bit, you would be fascinated with all the history that Colorado has. And what's the world's best known showcase of the Roman arch?
The great Colosseum in Rome.
Oh, of course,
you see arch after arch after arch, and it holds up a lot of weight, as you can see there. Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah. It's great to tour that and think that it stood for 2,000 years. I don't think Mile High Stadium's going to last 2,000 years.
It's kind of sometimes a little emotional when you're standing in a place like that and you think about all the history and what's happened there.
Yeah, and how it somehow miraculously survived.
Yeah, that is crazy. What is Denver's best example of like a Greek temple like that?
Well, I think this building right here, the old post office, now the Byron White Federal Courthouse, with those classic columns, Ionic capitals, and see the fluted, the kind of curved
yes, I do see that.
Texture to the columns.
That's absolutely beautiful. Do you have a favorite neoclassical building?
Yeah, I think so. The old Colorado National Bank, which you see here, with those Ionic columns. And again, fluted, and this is a pure Colorado Yule marble.
Okay.
Beautiful white marble.
Now let's look at it in modern day. Here we go, boom!
Right, there it is, all modernized, and now the Renaissance Hotel.
You know, it's just amazing how many people get so involved in architecture and protecting our architecture here in Denver, which we're so blessed to have the rich history that we have here.
We are. We have like 352 designated landmarks, including those buildings, and some 53 historic districts, trying to preserve the best of the past.
There's actually a preservation foundation, and each year they kind of spotlight different buildings that have been preserved over the years, right?
Exactly. The Denver Architectural Foundation, also the Classical Institute of Classical Art and Architecture.
Isn't it amazing? Now, I want to talk about you, because I think you are, he's the only guy I know that could combine beer and architecture. You have a neoclassical pub tour coming up. Tell me about it.
Right, and you've been in the bar. Have you ever been in a bar, Denise?
Of course I've been in a bar.
They often have classical columns on the back bar. They'll frame a mirror.
Oh, yes.
And you'll see fluted there, and you'll see the Ionic capital or the Corinthian or the Doric columns if you look closely in those bars.
Oh my gosh, which ones are we going to see and venture out with you?
Well, the old Colorado National Bank, now the lobby is a bar where they have those wonderful murals that Alan True did.
Is that one of your favorites?
That is a fun one, right?
Absolutely. And speaking of fun, are you going to do the Halloween tour again this year?
We are indeed. We're going to do the haunted Capitol Hill and then Fairmount Cemetery. Would you like to play a role?
I would. Yeah, it's for people who are just tuning in and they have no idea. You have people reenacting some of Colorado's best known characters or people that lived here and really made a difference.
Right. Students get extra credit if they'll portray.
Should we start signing up right now if we want to?
You should. You'll probably get an A in the class, Denise.
Now, Dr. Colorado, why would you give me an A? For the Denver chapter of the Institute of Classical Architecture and Art, Dr. Colorado is conducting a neoclassical pub tour. It's Wednesday, September 20th, 5:30 p.m. at Wynkoop Brewing Company. Now, you must register in advance with the ICAA at this email address, info@class classicist, there we go, -rmc.org. Classicist, rmc.org. That's info@classicist-rmc.org. Dr. Colorado's tours, talks, books, and classes. You can check it out at dr-colorado.com.